Wow, that afterburner is hot. Oh, listen, Donald Trump called me last week, and he was saying that we should buy a Bombardier Challenger 650. I've looked at it. I'm convinced that we need to get the Beechcraft Air King 350i instead.
Son, we need to wait until we get the full report back from the mechanic to find out the status of our current airplane before we talk about buying another airplane. You know, I want to buy the C-45 Expediter, and it's a good airplane. It's from 1952. It's a solid statecraft airplane for that time, and it's very reliable.
Listen, the Expediter is an old piece of crap. That thing's going to cost a fortune to maintain.
But I don't want to get into the discussion between you, your mother, India, and the President of the United States over what airplane we're going to buy until we find out the status of our current airplane.
The Beechcraft is commensurate with our needs, and it's a reasonable price compared to that monstrosity, the Bombardier.
Son, the C-45, especially the one that I'm talking about from 1952, was used for many, many years. It was used both on the military side and on the commercial side. Early commercial flights were done in the C-45. It's a state-of-the-art airplane that we can rely on. Now, maybe India and you and everybody else needs all these electronic gadgets in these new airplanes, but we don't. I'm telling you. We just need something reliable. Maybe the President of the United States, I mean, let's face it, the President is used to flying on a much nicer jet than Air Force One. Air Force One is actually slumming it for him. So I understand his position. I understand where he's coming from on wanting the Bombardier. But we don't need it. So why don't we concentrate on the show that's coming up, and we'll put the whole conversation to the side until then, okay? So what are we going to do on the next show?
Well, this week we have Donald Trump at the UN, and we have the Democrats' impeachment proceedings.
All right, well, what about the Ukraine mess? What are we going to do with that?
Ukraine, we can push that off until next
All right, what do we need to do for the production of the show? Do we have all of our notes ready? Is everything in line? Oh, and also, before we go any further, India said that a package came for the President. The President said that he was going to send me a package. I've been waiting on it for a couple of weeks now. India said it came in the mail. Do you have any idea? Have you seen it around here?
No, I haven't. Do you want me to call India about that?
Yeah, give her a call. Find out where this thing is. I've looked everywhere for it. Wait a minute. Don't use the red phone. The red phone's not plugged in. The President sent this red phone, and he hasn't sent any fellows over to plug it in. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. I mean, we got the candlestick to talk to the President, but... Oh, the green phone. Oh, wait a minute. That one has aliens on it or something. Or cooties or something. It's weird. It's plugged in, but you can't call out on it, and you get some kind of a clicking sound, and then they hang up, and I don't know, some crank callers are calling on that. I got to get that checked. We're going to have to look into that. Just use the black phone. It's unsecured, but we're just calling India. So find out what she knows about this package and where it is, because I like to find it. Now, the President seems to be very anxious for me to find this package, and I got to see what's in it.
Hey, sister, how's it going? Have you seen that package that Donald Trump sent to us last week? You know, the highly classified one?
It's on the bookcase.
A bookcase? Oh, yeah, you're right. Give me a second. All right. Oh, hey, India, this package is open. You didn't happen to open a top secret package, did you?
What if I did?
Because that would be illegal, to say the
God.
least. You can't open things and read letters that aren't meant for you.
The President said I could. Yeah, he said we're best friends now, and that he wants me to play golf with him, and also, he said I didn't have to call him President Trump anymore. I get to call him Uncle Don.
Yeah, that's great, India. Listen, I'm just gonna have to let you go, because...
You're just jealous.
See ya.
Put Daddy on.
Hey, have you seen this?
Hey, hello? Hello? Where did you go?
Dear Ed,
Hello?
it is my pleasure to offer you a position
Alexander.
as a Joint Chiefs of Staff
Dad?
officer
Hello?
in my White House.
Did y'all get the envelope? What was inside of it? Hello? Oh my God. Hello? This is taking forever.
Look at this.
Are you kidding
Metal
me?
and everything.
Hello?
Oh.
Hey,
1 second. I thought you said this thing was dead. Hello?
Why aren't anybody listening to me?
It's dead.
Hello?
There's
Hello?
no one on the line. That's strange.
I need to talk to somebody.
We're gonna have to look into that.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the green phone. We're gonna definitely have to look into it, and I'll ask the president about it and see if he knows anything about
Oh
it.
my gosh, are you serious?
Anyway,
I hate you
you're
both.
taking this, right?
What are y'all doing? Hello? Father? Alexander? Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Son, I don't know why you didn't hang up the phone on her. It's just gonna go yakking on and on. Okay, the Joint Chiefs of Staff thing, we're gonna have to wait on. I'm gonna have to talk to the president and see what he wants to do.
No. You cannot turn down the Joint Chiefs of Staff position.
I don't know. I mean, we don't work in the front and center. We work in the shadows. We work behind the scenes. That way you can manipulate the system. And I don't know why he would want to put me on the Joint Chiefs, other than the fact that they probably do need to be straightened up.
It's a perfect opportunity for me. You go and play footsie with the government. Meanwhile, I can just, become a consultant in Ukraine for $50,000 a month. It's a dream job.
For now, let's just do the show, all right? Get the clapper, and let's do the show, because we got to get this thing, we got to get the show on the road.
Whatever. Let's just start this thing.
Today on BarbWire Strategy, we're going to talk about two things. Actually, there's three things here, but we're going to get one of them right out of the way real quick, and that's the Republican Party. Yeah, because they're basically not doing anything. So we're just going to set them aside so they can do what they do best, sit there. So this is about Donald Trump and the Democratic Party. This is the strategy of the Democratic Party versus Donald Trump, my man Donald Trump. So there's two main points that I want to hit on today. And number one is the Biden demolition, the descendancy of Biden. Now, I don't have a bobblehead for Biden. Royal Baubles makes these, and they didn't make a Biden doll. They make all the other Democrats, but they didn't make a Biden. So this fella here is going to stand in, the Democrat donkey is going to stand in for Biden, my example of him. And then, of course, Donald Trump will be Donald Trump, of course. No one could play Donald Trump except Donald Trump. Anyway, the first point, we're going to talk about 2 points. One is the Biden descendancy and how he's going to slowly find his demise in this election. And the other is the Trump impeachment slash, it's actually an inquiry, but we're going to talk about the impeachment. I'm going to get into all the nitty gritty at the end of the show on the impeachment. So just we'll set Donald Trump to the side just for a second. Not because he's not doing anything like the Republicans, but just because we're going to concentrate on Biden right now. Just a real quick review. There's 5 parts to the Democratic strategy. Now, I've laid a lot of this out in the last few shows, but let me go through it real quick just so that we're covering all of our bases. The Democratic strategy is in 5 parts. The first part is the Mueller investigation. We're done with that. That added up to 0. All of these things add up to 0 pretty much, but they don't add up to 0 on the funding side for the DNC. And that's what we want to look at, is the funding, but the money. So the Mueller investigation produced quite a bit of funding. In fact, I would argue that it produced the House of Representatives for the Democrats. That plus let's bring the Republicans back in for a second, plus the Republicans didn't do jack in the first 2 years of Donald Trump's presidency, even though he tried. They sat on their hands and did nothing. They had the House and the Senate, which don't get me started. They always said that they needed the House and the Senate and the executive branch, and then they could do wonders. You give them the House and the Senate and the executive branch, and they don't know what to do with it. All they know is to give the ball back to the Democrats, and that's what they did in the House in the last election in 2018. So the first part was the Mueller investigation. That's over with. The second part is Joe Biden stepping in to run for the presidency. But really, as I said before, he's a consolidator. He's consolidating funding, and then at the appropriate time, he'll exit. Number 3 is the Trump impeachment. And boy, the Democrats are going to milk that impeachment for all that they can get out of it. And if they have to milk it for the next 5 years, they'll be milking. They'll be talking about impeachment for the next 5 years. If they aren't able to actually convict him in the Senate. Again, we'll get into that later on. The number 4 part is their candidate support. So they're going to eventually, when they get Biden out of the way and they bring in their candidate to run for president, which they know they're not going to win because we know that Donald Trump's going to win, and they know it too. Their number fellows know it, but they're going to concentrate their efforts on their candidate, and they're going to do all kind of fundraising for that too. And all of this fundraising is going to be for the last part of their strategy. The last part, the 5th part, is the fact that they're going to go after the Senate. It's going to try to get the Senate to swing the other direction. And they only have a few seats to go to win that Senate. It's not like the Republicans have this super huge majority in the Senate. No, they only need to get a few seats. And they're going to put all of their money on the Senate. You watch and see. Okay, now let's talk about Biden. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty of Biden and his exit strategy. Or it's not his exit strategy, it's actually the Democrats' exit strategy for Biden. Once he's done all the consolidating he needs to do, he's going to step aside. And in the past, I said he's going to step aside. I have no idea how or what, but I think I've got a clearer picture on it now. It's because this Ukraine mess has given me an indication of what's going to happen.
Did y'all look inside of the envelope? I didn't get to see it. Hello? I just want to know what's inside of the freaking envelope. Hello? Oh my God. This is ridiculous. I hate you both.